computer.
Quick question on this. Have we scheduled, I know that we're going to get through these probably first, but have you guys scheduled internally a time for us to go meet with the board, or is that just going to power forward and we'll just kind of move to closing? I was just curious about whether or not there was going to be more conversation at the board level, or if you guys were going to.
I don't expect any conversation at the board level for you guys.
Okay.
I think this project, along with most of the other ones you guys are involved with, seem to be pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nothing unusual. If anything, the only question I would expect would be on the sales and use tax exemption.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I think they're pretty straightforward, and we'll present to our chairman. He's most apt to have questions, if anybody, ahead of time. So if there's questions, hopefully we'll have that ready for you.
All right. Yeah. Well, we've, obviously I've said this to you, but we feel that sales tax exemption is pretty key to actually making this whole process, viable and work, given the fees and legal and all the other stuff we're going to incur. So obviously we'll
Sure.
fight hard for that, especially because we've walked.
And I know when you talk about the fees and all that stuff, you're really complaining about the attorneys and not our fees.
Yeah. Well, they're always listening, Rich. I can't say it. No, but that's for sure. And I think it's always good to explain to people exactly, like, when you're offering those sales tax exemptions, you're really giving us the permission to not pay another county. Like that's the irony of it, is if we're buying some of this stuff somewhere else, then you're just giving us the ability to not for them to not claim it.
Yeah, that's in part why we target it. It's so that it is being used locally.
Yeah.
So that's okay. And I see somebody else is trying to join us from a phone. I'm going to admit them. All right. Welcome. Who just joined us on the phone? Galaxy S20. Do you have a name? All right, I'm probably not going to get a name. All right, let's continue on here. Welcome to the public hearing for the Madrid-1 LLC project. Madrid-1 submitted an application to the agency, a copy of which has been posted on our website and is available at the office. The application requests the agency consider an undertaking of the project, provides benefits to the company. The project consists of acquisition of an interest in approximately 30.5 acres of land at 2 Brady Road, town of Madrid, the installation of which includes approximately 22 acres of land, a 5 megawatt solar array system, solar generation, granting certain financial assistance with respect to the foregoing, including potential exemptions of certain real estate property taxes, transfer taxes, mortgage recording taxes, sales use taxes. The agency is considering whether to undertake the project to provide certain exemptions of taxation, exemptions from mortgage recording taxes, such as deed transfer taxes, potential real property tax exemptions, with the exception of special ad valorem levies, which are not exemptable. Project is not consistent with the agency's uniform tax exemption policy, and as such, the agency has followed procedures to deviate from that policy. The agency has not yet made a determination pursuant to Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law, the SECRE Act, regarding potential environmental impact of the project. This will be addressed at the next board meeting of the agency. With that, I will open this up to public comment. Ryan, did you have anything you wanted to say?
No, it might be helpful just for the record to clarify exactly when and how the protocols move forward for the town of Madrid to sign off on its consent resolutions necessary for the IDA to negotiate on its behalf. Do you guys have, just to
They've
clarify,
already
you
done that.
have the resolutions from the town that state that they are willing to, defer to the IDA for the negotiation of this pilot?
Yeah, the consent resolutions we have in hand before I schedule the public hearings. So that was the delay in getting the public hearing scheduled.
Correct.
Which we do now have. And so at our next IDA board meeting, we'll address this project.
All right. And just one other question. I mean, I understand this to be true, but just for the record, the county was contacted as part of seeker and ultimately deferred lead agency as the seeker to the local governments, of which did find negative declarations on both Madrid-1 and Madrid-2, as well as the other 3 projects in negotiation with St. Lawrence County. So
that is correct.
It's my understanding that, given that deferral to the town, that the IDA at least intends to, granted hasn't ratified, but at least intends to move forward with holding up the negative declaration that was issued by the town of Madrid. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Those are my only comments, and or I wouldn't call them questions, comments, questions, or either or.
That's okay. Galaxy S20, do you have any comments?
No, I'm the landowner, so I just wanted to see what was going on.
And
Well, as
what's
is
your name?
typical with these IDA hearings, not much.
It's Greg Hargrave from Brandy View Farms.
Welcome, Greg.
Thanks. I'm not too handy on this stuff, so sorry.
Neither am I, but they let me play with it anyways.
Okay.
Well, Greg, for the record, the fact that you made it on here at all says that you're more handy than some other folks that we deal with on a regular basis.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, I'll leave this open for another 3 or 4 minutes, see if anybody else logs in to make comment. In the meantime, if you come up with something you want to say, just give a shout or put your hand up so I'll know to unmute you.
So usually these meetings are pretty quiet then?
Yeah, so this is the 4th one that we've had, and I think that yours is the first comment from the public.
This is
I would say that qualifies as quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is my 9th or 10th solar public hearing, and other than a town member or a landowner and a developer, I haven't had anybody else log in to comment one way or the other. So yeah, quiet is certainly the way they go.
I will say though that it depends on where you are. We have it runs the gamut. I think that there are some towns that have been doing these public hearings for long enough that their citizens have now kind of figured out how it goes, and unfortunately now we've been subject to some quote Zoom bombers, people who are coming in and disrupting meetings and doing all types of crazy stuff, and it happens, unfortunately. So it runs the gamut. Sometimes they're quiet, and sometimes you get somebody with a random cat filter or something showing up and yelling at the, you never know.
Yep. So this is probably quite a bit better for you guys being a Zoom meeting, so you don't have to travel somewhere and just sit there.
Yeah,
Well, it is certainly
sometimes.
convenient.
Definitely more convenient, that's for sure. But I would say, again, it runs the gamut. Some supervisors and or planning board chairs are really quite militant about managing these meetings, and some are complete free-for-alls that, a meeting that normally would take an hour will take 3 hours. And my wife has been very patient with me. I know Joe's wife has been patient with him as far as some of these meetings where we're hanging out until 10, 11 o'clock at night, just listening to people yell at each other.
No, that doesn't sound like fun to me.
No, it's not particularly fun, but you can find fun in it if you look hard enough.
Yeah, that's true. So for the most part, things have been going pretty smooth though.
Yeah.
All the solar projects.
Yeah, we're moving right along, and obviously it's been great to work with Rich and the IDA. They've been really helpful. We've got a slate of 5 projects going through St. Lawrence County right now. So we're definitely one foot in front of the other, and all these projects are getting financed and prepping for the thaw. That's the big the big operative piece right now, obviously, is when we're going to be able to get out there. And I know it's a little different for each project.
Right.
These ones were permitted first. The two Madrid projects and the Waddington project were all kind of first in the line, so to speak. So I imagine they'll break ground first, and then the other 2 projects will follow shortly thereafter.
So you're thinking this summer they'll be breaking ground then, or earlier?
I don't know with this project in particular. I know that some of the civil prep on the Oswegatchie project is slated to start in late May.
Okay.
So granted, that's just, civil prep. That's making sure the road's where it needs to be. That's doing any clearing if there is any, which I don't think in this, in the case of these projects there is. So that's pretty lonesome work. But I would imagine that the real transformative stuff will probably start taking place, midsummer.
Okay, good.
The good news for all of us, though, is that the utility is finally catching up with these interconnections. For a while there, early on in COVID, they were running very far behind on their site visits and inspections, and then ultimately kind of throwing the switch and connecting these things. So they're finally caught up and doing things at a reasonable clip again. So that's exciting, because it's always tough to have your projects hang in the balance and have National Grid be the one holding the other end of the seesaw, so to speak, because
Right. Yeah.
they are not always the easiest partner in the world.
All right, guys. If there's nothing more for this, I'm gonna stop recording and the meeting, and if you guys are gonna log in, we'll see you in another 15 minutes.
All right. Well, you'll definitely see me.
All right, I'm gonna go, guys. So it doesn't sound like there's really much going on. So.
No, you can get back to your day for sure. Yeah.
Well, nice
And,
chatting with you.
if there's any surprises, we'll let you know.
Okay, cool. All right,
Yeah.
thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yep, bye now.
Bye.